Algebra 2, this is Chapter 5, Section 6. This is the second of 7 videos in this series. So this is actually example 1. The first video was vocabulary and key concepts. So how do we take the square root of this? Well, first thing we need to do is to break it out. This is the same thing as the square root of 25 times the square root of a to the 4th times the square root of b to the 9th. Now remember, with square roots we are looking for groups of 2. Sometimes it's considered, like the other teacher here calls it, a jailbreak, where the number on the outside, which in this case is an assumed 2, means you get 2 cops and you're looking for 2 thieves on the inside, and when you've got 2 and 2, it matches up, and then only one escapes, the other one gets shot. So kind of a weird analogy, but that's the way he teaches it. I just say whatever the number on the outside, you've got to have that many on the inside to bring it out. So 25 is actually 5 times 5. So there are 2 of them. We want 2 of them. So 2 on the inside becomes 1 on the outside of the radical, so this becomes a 5. And you know that square root of 25 is 5. Continuing on, again, this is an assumed 2 here, so we want groups of 2. How many groups of 2 are there in 4? Well, that's 2. So this becomes an a squared on the outside. And this one becomes a little bit more complicated, so I'm going to break it out into b to the 8th times the square root of b. Now 8 has groups of 2. There would be 4 groups of 2, so this would be b to the 4th. And then this does not have a group of 2, so this would just be the square root of b. And this would be your final answer. So the square root of 25 is 5. Square root of a to the 4th is a squared. And the square root of b 9th, well, there's 4 groups of 2 in there with 1 left over. So it's b to the 4th square roots of b. Let's go and show you one more example of this. So square root of 16, and if you need to write it all out, we can write it all out again. Square root of 16 times the square root of p to the 8th times the square root of q to the 7th. And if you don't need to write it all out, you can kind of go straight from here. We know the square root of 16 is 4. 16 is 4 times 4, so this is just 4. Groups of 2, there are 4 groups of 2 in 8, so this is p to the 4th. And if you actually physically need to write this as p to the 4th squared, you could do that. That way you can see that there are 4 groups of 2. And then q to the 7th, again, q to the 7th, that would be the square root of q to the 6th times the square root of q. And then the square root of q to the 6th would be q to the 3rd. And square root of q is just the square root of q. So final answer right there.